Hi, I'm Addy. I'm working with Asia Pacific Network of Positive People. I'm originally from Myanmar. I'm a positive person. I'm getting a lot of my drugs from Indian generic. Since Myanmar and India is sharing border, we have a lot of drugs from India that we have to depend on. And the things that Novartis is trying to do to India is not only going to cost a lot of life in Myanmar, in the region, or people around the world. And it's not only going to be the lives of positive people, it's also for the other diseases like cancers and other generic drugs that a lot of lives are depending on. Well, if I have to say one sentence, what Novartis is trying to do is not only not good, it's evil.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm from Thailand. I'm here to talk about Novartis. Novartis is a drug company, and they try to sell drugs to many people in the world. And what they're trying to do now is to make sure that their drug is sold as highest price as possible for the longest period of time as possible. The thing is, and it's problematic, is that some people cannot access it in the developing world. There are many people who need to use cancer drug, heart disease, and ARV. So if they win the case in the court, it's going to affect all the people around the world who depend on life-saving drugs. So please come together. We're all in this together to fight Novartis.
Hi, I'm Skand from Nepal, and I'm here to tell you about the Novartis case. India is 80% of generic medicines is produced by India, and that's at risk due to the greed of Novartis. They're challenging the Section 3D of the Indian patent law, and it's only because of their greed for compromising the lives of the people over the drugs.
My name is Gina, and I'm from the Philippines, and I'm here to talk about Novartis case. In the Philippines, 100% of people living with HIV are solely relying on the generic drugs coming from India. And with this, many of us are now living longer, and that includes men, women, and our children. I know that at one point in your life, HIV may not affect you now, but at one point in your life it will affect you and other diseases, and you may need affordable generic drugs in the future. So please stop and drop the Novartis case.
Alright, so Novartis is suing India, the Indian government, and undermining Indian government's patent law around the issue of evergreening, which means that what it wants to do is take an existing drug and continue to change the process and still have it under a patent protection, which would make it unaffordable. This lawsuit needs to be thrown out of court by the Indian government. Patients will die, and access to essential medicines will be undermined unless we oppose Novartis. We say to Novartis, take your hands off our medicines. Take your claws off our medicines. I am Sarah Zaidi with the International Treatment Preparedness Coalition.
Novartis must stop this inhuman act. Our life depends on the medicines produced in India. So this case is an attempt to kill thousands or millions of lives across the developing world. Novartis must end being too greedy and drop this case in India immediately. I'm Siva Purailapan from Asia Pacific Network of People Living with HIV/AIDS.
Hi, my name is Rico Gustav. I'm from Indonesia. There's a lot of people in Indonesia who's using generic drugs from India. People who's living with HIV, people who have cancer and other diseases as well. And right now, Novartis is threatening our access to these generic drugs because these generic drugs is produced in India, and Novartis is trying to stop the generic production by challenging the law in the court. We're totally supporting the government of India in fighting back the Novartis, and for one message for Novartis is you have to back off and let people live and stop being greedy.
Hi, I'm Gloria Lay and I work for the International Drug Policy Consortium. And a lot of the lives of those in countries that we work with in the region, including from India, China, Indonesia, Malaysia, their lives depend on medicines that are produced in India. And so we urge Novartis to drop this case against the Indian government so that they may continue and to live their lives.
I'm Dean. I work with the Asian network of people who use drugs. Millions of people in my network access generic medicines every day and use them to stay alive. If this Novartis case goes through, they will not be able to afford or access their medicines. Governments will not be able to provide medicines for people to stay alive. We think it is disgusting and shameful that a pharmaceutical company wants to make millions of dollars because we are sick people. Novartis needs to drop this case now.
I'm Thaw from Myanmar. Thousands of people in my country depends on the medicine produced in India. So if Novartis win this case, it will cut off the medicine that is keeping us alive. My message to Novartis is drop the case right now.
Hello, my name is Vince and I'm originally from the Pacific. These medications that are keeping people alive, not just for HIV, but for TB, headaches, common pain relief, our small islands depend on these medications, and if this supply was cut off, what would we do? So our message to Novartis is drop this case.
My name is Matthew Tyne. I'm from Australia. I work for the Australian Federation of AIDS Organisations. We have an office here in Bangkok, and a lot of the work we do is with men who have sex with men. Many are very poor and underprivileged and really marginalised. And if Novartis proceeds with this threat to generic drugs produced in India, many of the men that we work with are going to die. It's hard enough for them to get access to food and to see doctors and nurses on a regular basis. And now Novartis wants to come in with this and undermine the great work that has been done in India to develop these patent laws, to protect people and to save thousands and thousands of lives. So it's time for Novartis to back off and start to work with people to improve people's lives, to improve people's access to medicine, to save men who have sex with men, to save a whole range of people who are HIV positive or who could potentially be in the future. So Novartis, get with it, stop fighting and back off.
Oser traîner l'Inde en justice juste parce que sa législation lui permet de fabriquer des médicaments génériques abordables et qui sauvent des vies tous les jours dans les pays pauvres, c'est juste scandaleux et criminel. Je me demande comment les actionnaires de Novartis peuvent dormir le soir en ayant leur conscience tranquille. التصرف ديال شركة نوفارتيس اليوم اللي كتتابع الهند في المحاكم فقط لأن القانون ديالها كيسمح لها بأنها تصنع أدوية رخيصة الثمن واللي كتمكن أنه واحد العدد كبير من الناس في البلدان الفقيرة يقدروا يستطيعوا أنهم يتوفروا على العلاج اللي هما محتاجين له هو مسألة ممكن نقولوا جريمة. كنتسائل كيفاش هاد الناس ديال شركة نوفارتيس يقدروا ينعسوا كل ليلة والضمير ديالهم مرتاح.
My name is Lorena Digiano. I work for the Argentinian network of women living with HIV/AIDS. I'm here to send a clear message to Novartis, who is threatening the lives of millions of people around the world. This case against the patent law of India is a real shame, because this would mean that many people around the world won't be able to access to affordable generic medicines. So we ask Novartis to drop the case, and now.
Novartis está generando ganancias astronómicas con sus drogas patentadas. Pero eso no le alcanza. ¡Quiere más! A través de este caso contra la ley de patentes de India y la soberanía de este país. ¡Esto nos enoja! Nosotros defendemos la vida de millones de personas que no podrán acceder a medicamentos genéricos de calidad y a precios accesibles para los países en desarrollo. Novartis, drop the case!
Hello, my name is Alex Freire. I am from Argentina. We are in Buenos Aires, Argentina now, saying you, Novartis. Novartis, this is a global fight. We are talking before the bottom of the world, maybe. Global fight. This is a global problem. Our health. From Argentina, we need the generics. We need these piles because it's cheaper and we obtain that. With your price, we will die. We can win. We know that. We know we are the power of the people from every country, from the global world. This is our fight. It's from us. Thanks, I want to say thanks from ActupBasel to speak us about this point. Stop Novartis. Stop.
Me llamo Pablo García, soy secretario general de la Red Argentina de Personas Positivas. Novartis ha demandado a numerosos países atentando contra importantes garantías del derecho a la salud. En Argentina, también Novartis ha presentado una demanda para tratar de obtener la exclusividad de datos de los ensayos clínicos. La exclusividad de datos podría retrasar el registro de medicamentos genéricos en Argentina. Por suerte, nuestro Tribunal Supremo rechazó el caso de Novartis. Novartis, basta de ataques a medicamentos genéricos.
Well, I can say that patients and advocates in Eastern Europe and Central Asia are worried and angry about the behavior of Novartis in the situation with imatinib. Those attempts to deceive people, trying to prove that an old drug is in fact a new drug, are simply outrageous. As we think, it seems that Novartis are forgetting one simple but very, very important thing, which is that the pharmaceutical industry is not just about making profit, it's also about saving lives. And lives can be saved when people have access to medicines. This is as simple as that. So we strongly believe that firstly, Novartis must stop any attempts to use patent protection for their old drugs. Secondly, all the pharmaceutical companies must have a clear policy about not using such fraudulent practices which threaten the lives of people throughout the world. And we hope that India will not succumb to Novartis and show the whole world that caring for people's lives is more important than caring for profits of a certain company.
Novartis, la copie, c'est la vie.
Je suis séropositif depuis 22 ans. On me dit que je coûte cher. Ce sont vos médicaments qui coûtent cher, qui nous coûtent cher. Novartis, retirez votre plainte contre l'Inde.
Avec Novartis, même la mort est sous brevet.
Avec Novartis, notre vie et nos santé sont sous copyright. Retirez votre plainte.
Novartis, rien ne justifie les prix des médicaments que tu imposes. Les prix des génériques le démontrent. Faut que tu retires ta plainte tout de suite.
Novartis, ça va. Le cancer, je connais, je me suis pas battu contre pour le profit des actionnaires. Donc tes médicaments, leur prix est indécent. Tu les diminues et tu enlèves ta plainte contre l'Inde, maintenant.
Je suis séropo depuis 1995. On me dit que je coûte cher à la société.
Avec des génériques, je coûterais moins cher et serais en tout aussi bonne santé. Novartis, retirez votre plainte.
Aux personnes séropositives, en Inde et partout dans le monde, Novartis, retire ta plainte.
Je suis séropositif au VIH et activiste de la lutte contre le sida depuis 25 ans. Ça m'a permis de comprendre à quel point des gens sont capables de profiter de la maladie au-delà du raisonnable. Novartis fait partie de cela. Retirez votre plainte contre l'Inde. Elle est inadmissible.
Je lutte contre le sida dans un pays riche. Malheureusement, ça n'a aucun sens si on ne prend pas en compte les malades des pays du Sud. Aujourd'hui, ces malades n'ont pas accès aux traitements et aux molécules qui pourraient les sauver à cause des prix prohibitifs que Novartis maintient et impose au marché. Novartis, retire ta plainte.
Attends, Novartis, je ne comprends pas. Ton chiffre d'affaires en 2011 a augmenté de 5%. Et ton bénéfice par action de 8% en 2011. Et donc, quel est le problème avec les génériques en Inde? Novartis, retire ta plainte.
Attends, mais c'est ton communiqué que je lis là? Novartis a réalisé en 2011 une excellente performance financière sous-jacente et prévoit pour 2012 des ventes au niveau de 2011. Mais il est où le problème avec l'Inde? Retire ta plainte, Novartis.
Aujourd'hui, Novartis poursuit le gouvernement indien pour non-respect de la loi sur les brevets. Si sa plainte aboutit, cela pourra modifier la loi indienne sur les brevets, notamment la section 3D qui protège la production indienne de génériques des abus de l'industrie pharmaceutique. Les conséquences pour les malades à travers le monde seront immenses. Nous demandons à Novartis de retirer sa plainte. Je suis Florine d'ActupBasel.
Novartis, तुम निकल जाओ हमारे देश से, तुम हमें मारोगे, हम तुम्हें मारेंगे.
Denis Godlewski and I am an HIV activist from Eastern Europe and Central Asia. Eastern Europe and Central Asia, when you say it, you think about such countries like Russia, Ukraine, or maybe Kazakhstan. I mentioned those three because they have recently started to produce generics. And those generic manufacturing is extremely important for access to medicines. Right now, Novartis access to essential medicines not only for people living with HIV, but for people with cancer, diabetes, and many other diseases. Novartis lies when the company representatives say that their attempt to lawsuit Indian Section 3D and their patent law will not limit the access to medicine. It will. So I personally and my colleagues object and say no to Novartis' attempts to stop access to medicines. Stop Novartis, not access.
Je m'appelle Adam, j'habite au Maroc et j'ai 10 ans. J'ai entendu dire qu'à cause de Novartis, il y a des enfants malades dans le monde qui vont mourir parce qu'on ne pourra pas acheter des médicaments pour les soigner. Est-ce que c'est vrai? Je m'appelle Adam, j'habite au Maroc et j'ai 10 ans. J'ai entendu dire qu'à cause de Novartis, il y a des enfants malades dans le monde qui vont mourir parce qu'on ne pourra pas acheter des médicaments pour les soigner. Est-ce que c'est vrai?